ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯡ ꯎꯁꯝ ꯅꯤꯡꯊꯧꯈꯣꯝꯕ ꯃꯤꯇꯩ ꯑꯩ ꯏꯪꯂꯤꯁꯀꯤ ꯑꯣꯖꯥꯅꯤ. Hi everyone. Today we'll be doing the 7th chapter, chapter number 7th of class 7 English, Woodman Spared Tree. So this is a poem written by George Pop Morris. George Pop Morris, he was an American editor, poet and a songwriter. So he co-founded the daily, the newspaper called New York Evening Mirror. So today's poem, Woodman Spared a Tree, was first published in the year 1837 in the January 17th, and it is as an issue, it was published under the title Oak Tree, so as an issue of the Mirror, the Evening Mirror. Then the poem we are going to learn today, is an adaptation of his poem. So, and the lines of this poem are often quoted by the environmentalists because it is a poem which deals with saying to someone to stop cutting the tree. So in this poem, the poet is seen trying to save an old oak tree from the axe of a woodcutter. To the woodman, obviously, it is just an old oak tree. But to the poet, this oak tree is not an ordinary tree. This oak tree was not a simple tree. So this tree was planted by his forefathers' hands. This tree is associated with his childhood memories. So this tree has seen everything. So there is an emotional attachment with the tree and the poet. So let's read the poem, Woodman Spared a Tree, George Pop Morris. So, Woodman spared a tree, touched not a single bough. In youth it sheltered me, and I'll protect it now. 'Twas my forefathers' hands that placed it near his coat. There, woodman, let it stand, thy axe shall harm it not. When but an idle boy, I sought its grateful shade, in all their gushing joy. Here too my sisters played, my mother kissed me here, my father pressed my hand. Forgive this foolish tear, but let that old oak stand. My heartstrings round thee cling, close as thy bark. Old friend, here shall the wild bird sing, and still thy branches bend. Old tree, the storm still brave, and woodman, leave the spot, while I have a hand to save. Thy axe shall harm it not. Okay, now let's try to learn the meaning of this poem by reading it again line by line. So, woodman spared a tree. The poet is telling the woodman, the woodcutter, to save the tree. He is telling the woodman not to cut it down. Touch not a single bough. Bough means branch, the branch of a tree. So he is warning the woodman not to touch even a single branch of the tree. In youth, it sheltered me. So when I was young, the poet is saying to the woodman, when I was young, this tree gave me shelter, and I'll protect it now. 'Twas my forefather's hand that placed it near his cot. 'Twas of an old fashion of saying it was. It is an old English, so it is not used nowadays while speaking or while writing. It is, you can find such kinds of words only in some old poems. So it is, when I say it was my forefather's hands, just keep in mind that I'm saying it was my forefather's hand. So it was my forefather's hand which have planted this tree near his cot. Here, cot actually means cottage. The poet has shortened the word cottage into cot. Why? Because he wants to make it rhyme with the line that follows. There, woodman, let it stand. Thy axe shall harm it not. See, the word cottage is written as cot to make it rhyme with the word not. Cot, not, to make it rhyme. So, 'twas my forefather's hand that placed it near his cot. There, woodman, let it stand. Thy axe shall harm it not. So, we'll discuss about the rhyming later on. There, woodman, let it stand. Thy axe shall harm it not. The poet is again telling the woodman to let the oak tree stand there unharmed. The axe of the woodcutter, axe, the weapon, the tool which he used for cutting down the trees, that axe should not be used. So he is telling the woodman, he is telling the woodcutter that his axe shall not harm this tree. So when but an idle boy, I sought its grateful shade. the poet calls himself an idle boy. He was used to be an idle boy, as according to him. And idle boy actually means lazy boy, who is never excited to do anything, never willing to do anything, but remains sitting quietly doing nothing. So he was an idle boy, and when he was a child, an idle boy, he sought the shade of this tree. He used to stay under the shade of the tree. In all their gushing joy, here too my sisters played. Here, gushing actually means in plenty, in huge amount. So happy that you end up laughing and laughing. So, in all their gushing joy would mean in all their happiness, beneath the shade of the oak tree, his sisters played there. So, my mother kissed me here, my father pressed my hand. See, the poet's sister played there, his mother kissed him there, his father pressed his hands. Everything was done under this oak tree. And in short, this tree has always been associated with the poet's childhood. So his happy childhood life was all witnessed, was all seen by this old oak tree. Forgive this foolish tear, but let that old oak stain. So, Woodman, sorry for crying, sorry for these foolish tears in my eyes, but you should let this tree stand here. You should not cut it. You cannot cut it. So, my heartstrings roundly cling. My heartstrings means my feelings, my emotions are roundly cling, means stuck to you. My love, my respect, my memory are all stuck with you. So, close as thy bark, old friend. So, do you know what is thy bark? What is bark? Bark means the outer covering of the trunk. Branch na outer covering. That is called bark. As shown in the picture, the barks of a tree are rough and hard when touched. And another thing, the poet addressed the tree as friend. He said old friend. So even from here we can understand how much close he is with the tree. Here shall wild birds sing, and still thy branches bend. So here the wild birds, tree wild bird ko. So whenever there is a tree, wild birds are going to come there. They are going to sit on the branches of the tree and they are going to sing there. They are going to enjoy their life there. So here again, if the wood is cut down, by the woodman, will the birds come again? So that is why he is saying to the woodman. So here to the tree, here shall the wild bird sing, and still your branches bend. So he is now talking to the tree. He is now talking to the oak tree that wild birds shall come again. You must stay here. You must continue to exist, to live. And still thy branches bend. Your branches, the branches of the tree should bend for what? Because so that the wild birds can come there and sit on the branches. So old tree, the storm still brave. The storm is still going to come. There are lots of difficulties or problems will be there, but you should stay in here, alive. And Woodman leave the spot. Now he turns to the Woodman and see, after talking to the tree, recalling his childhood memories, his emotional relationship with the tree, everything. Now the poet turned to the Woodman and said, Woodman, leave this spot, leave this place. While I have a hand to save, thy axe shall harm it not. Well, saying I have a hand to save doesn't mean that the poet is going to fight the woodman or beat him up, but he is confirming his stand. He is confirming that he is there to save the tree, and while he is around, the woodman should not even think of cutting down the tree. So now let's have a quick recap of this poem. So why does the poet want to save the tree? Because the tree was planted by his forefathers, and his childhood memories are associated with this tree. His heartstrings, his emotions are deeply attached to the trees. So with what thing the poet compares his emotions with? He compared his emotions with the bark of the tree, the outer covering of the tree. Okay, here in this poem we have come across some new words. Let's try to remember those. First one, bough. Bough means branch, very easy. Twas means it was. So as I have told you, it is an old-fashioned and old English which are not used anymore nowadays. So you won't use such words, but it's good to know because you might have come across with these kinds of words while reading some poems, some old poems. Then comes gushing. What do you mean by gushing? Gushing means very, very happy, associated with laughter. You will end up laughing and laughing. Then heartstrings, heartstrings, one's deepest feeling. It is a very fancy word. We don't use it often, but good to know this one. One's deepest feeling of love and pity, one's emotion. That is called heartstrings. Now let's see the rhymings. Rhyming words means those words having similar sound and similar ending sound. So in this poem, see the first one, the first line, Woodman spared a tree, then touched not a single bough. The first ending word of the first line is tree. The ending word of the second line is bough. They are not rhyming. The ending sound is not same. Tree, bough. But see, the third line, in youth it sheltered me. The last word, me. It has the similar sound, the similar ending sound with tree, me. So they are rhyming words. So in this poem, the first line doesn't rhyme with the second line, but it rhymes with the third line, tree, me. And the second line rhymes with the fourth one, bow, now. So the poet deliberately or intentionally have written this poem using such rhyming words to make it musical, to make it beautiful. So in some poems you may find that the first line rhymes with the second line or the third line anyway, but in this one, in this poem, the poet had written this poem in such a way that the first line rhymes with the third one, second line rhymes with the fourth one. Just like in the next stanza, "'Twas my forefather's hand that placed it near his coat. There, Woodman, let it stand. Thy axe shall harm it not." So that's the end of the poem. This is a very simple poem, just asking the woodman not to cut down the tree, and I hope you will like it.